bet you thought I was doing this. Forgot that I was doing this, but I'm still doing this. I mean, I guess. Or is it just my opinions? It is me, the OGGM, coming to you live from Site B at 2:09 in the afternoon. It's the 23rd day of July, 2024. It is 74 degrees and sunny. Busy day for me, just doing a lot of puttering around the house and gardening and stuff. But I reminded myself that I have to do this. All right, top 3 games that are starry, spacey, outer space, science fiction, spaceship type games for you to play instead of 2024 Dungeons and Dragons. Now more than ever, these lists are kind of interesting because with 2024 D&D coming up in just a few short days, it's very interesting to see what games the industry is going to try and throw out there to maintain some level of competition. So my basis for doing these in no particular order was availability, price, ease of play. So number 1 is Stars Without Number because it's Kevin Crawford and everything Kevin Crawford does is amazing. And even it's one of those things where like, even if you never use it, you should have the PDF. Now the PDFs have gone back up to $19. They were down to 11 for a bit. This is the revised edition. You might do another revised edition since you just did a revised edition of Worlds Without Number. I don't know. Stars Without Number. I've got a copy of it. PDF. I had a physical copy, but it got lost or stolen. I don't remember what. But yeah, it's definitely one of those games where like, even if I never use it, there's the tables and the world building and the information and just the amount of work Kevin puts into these makes it worth owning. So if you're looking for a good D20 outer space type game with all the bells and whistles and all the world building in one complete thing, you could do wrong or better. Couldn't do better than this. All right, now number 2 is, of course, Star Wars, the Star Wars role-playing game, specifically the D6 West End Games Star Wars role-playing game, as is one of, if not the best Star Wars games. It's a great system. We've often talked about how the Star Wars Expanded Universe and the D6 West End Games Star Wars role-playing game fed off of each other for quite a while. Before West End Games lost their rights and Disney said those weren't canon anymore. Now, I know you're telling yourself, but the West End Games Star Wars isn't available anymore, OGGM, and it's like, you know, a arm and a leg on eBay. I thought you said the criteria was ease of play, price, and easy access. Well, thanks to the D6 project from Nocturnal Media, D6 West End Game Star Wars is available PDF for $1.07. This is D6 Star Wars with all the Star Wars stuff scrubbed off. So all you need is this and any Star Wars source book you could find, and you could run Star Wars. Or if you just want to run a space game using the D6 system that powered D6 Star Wars, this is the entire D6 system for Star Wars, West End Games D6 system. It's public source. It's $1.07 for the PDF. It's the hardback's $20, which seems a little pricey, but basically you're just paying for the printing. Yeah, I have this game. I constantly refer to it. It would probably be the first on my list if I ran a space game, at least until my space games publish, because I'm working on a space game. I've run it in the past, both for Star Wars and for a mecha game. Yeah, it's a great system. It's $1.07 for the PDF. So if you are a fan of the West End Games D6 Star Wars, or just want a D6 space system that is awesome, D6 Space. There you go. It's Star Wars, but without the bells and whistles. And the third one, you've heard me sing the praises of this game before. So it shouldn't come as no surprise that if you are looking for fantasy Dungeons and Dragons in space, Starfinder First Edition is the game to go to. If I had a choice between Spelljammer, Starfinder First Edition, New Spelljammer, and whatever Starfinder Second Edition is going to be, I'd pound for pound pick Starfinder First Edition. Of all the fantasy space games I've played, it's the best. Well, I mean, you know, Raven's Star was the best, but you can't find that anymore, and my copy burned up. But yeah, how many people in the world besides me have even heard of Raven Star? But yeah, if you're looking for fantasy space, D&D in space, Starfinder is the best D&D in space game that I've played. There might be better D&D in space games out there, but this one is easily available. The pocket guide's $19 for POD, or the PDF's like $11. It's if you know D20 and you know Pathfinder, you know Starfinder. And I really think, Starfinder is the system Pathfinder should have used for Pathfinder 2. I don't know why they didn't, because it is a great system. It really captures the feeling of fantasy space without all the weirdness of Spelljammer. There's, it feels like a space game where just the physics are fantasy instead of science. Unlike Spelljammer, which had the stupid flying boats and became sort of silly. It had the gigantic space hamster. It had the beholder that had gone to the top of a rock of brawl and learned it was in a role-playing game. And Spelljammer got a little silly. It had the walrus men. This one's much more written as a actual space Star Wars game, Star Trek-y type game, but the physics are magic instead of science. So yeah. There's my top 3 space games I think you should play that aren't 2024 Dungeons and Dragons. Gee, we're getting close to my favorite genre. I guess the next time we'll have to do this will have to be the top 3 superhero role-playing games. People keep saying I need to talk more about superheroes. Well, like 2 people have said it. And it is my favorite genre. So yeah, I feel like I should be covering it more than I do, because really nobody else is. So yeah, next time I do this, it'll be top 3 favorite space games. Now again, these aren't the best space games. These are just space games I know you can easily find, are relatively inexpensive, and are easy to learn. If you have one you want to add to the list, please comment down below. Otherwise, I'll get back to you another time. Till then.
Yo, check. Yeah, we're not the type to play games. You can stay claims. Came to show them.